This is Mellissa Thomas for Florida National News, coming to you from Valencia College's East Orlando campus, where Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will be delivering his remarks during the Florida DEREGUATHON. So stay tuned right here at FloridaNationalNews.com to find out a little bit more about what the DEREGUATHON is all about and what his aim is in that event. This is Mellissa Thomas coming to you from Valencia College.
Many of the professions that you represent have long been considered the gateway to hardworking Floridians, if you will. But over time, unintentional regulations have managed to create more of a gate and less of a gateway for those seeking access to the professional labor force. These overburdensome regulations, they've created a barrier to entry, if you will, for hardworking Floridians. They're actually trying to hurt the people that we're trying to help the most, and it stifles competition.
And I think that Florida's occupational licensing system needs to be overhauled. If you look, I think it's legitimate to have the regulations or licensing requirement if it's protecting consumers or if it's protecting the safety of the public. 2,000 hours just to get a license to become a barber, is that really, I mean, if it was 1,000 hours, would somehow the public be at risk because of that? So that's what we want you guys to do, and be honest about it, and think about, you know, what do we need to do to protect consumers, and then once we get to that, you know, we don't want to do more.
This is Mellissa Thomas with Florida National News. Speak to us about the benefits that you see of recouping time and costs once these deregulations are put in place.
Well, I mean, I think there's a number of benefits. I mean, one, you look at, you know, folks who are trying to work hard and want to get ahead may not have the ability to complete all of these requirements. You know, maybe you have a single mom that's got to worry about raising 2 kids, and so she's got skills, but could she really do 2,000 hours and not get paid or get paid a little for that? So there's just different things, I think, that come up. And so what I'm saying is, okay, if these, whatever requirements are there, is that protecting consumers so we know someone could do the job, that's one thing. But anything beyond that, to me, becomes an impediment to somebody to potentially be able to have a pathway where they can be more successful. And so I'm just conscious of folks who, you know, don't have the luxury of having just unlimited time, that they have to make choices, and I want to make it easier for folks who are, you know, particularly people if you're like a single mother and you have kids. I want to be able you to get those skills, get whatever requirements, and then actually put that into work. But I don't want you, I mean, like, think about 2,000 hours for cutting hair. Like, that's like working at a Wall Street law firm. They bill 2,000 hours a year. I mean, it's a lot of time, and I just wonder whether all that time is actually necessary. So I think the more these are reasonable, when they're tailored to fit, you know, a public reason, consumer protection, I think that's something folks would be able to handle. But beyond that, to me, I just think it makes it more harder for people to succeed, and I don't want to do that.
And I suspect we will find some regulations today here through this process that we can make it easier to access the workforce without putting anybody at risk. And I think that's kind of the theme of today. What can we do to streamline things and still preserve the health and safety of Floridians?
Speak to our audience about any bills or any legislation that you're working on.
Well, of interest here today at the DEREGUATHON, I've talked to a number of groups about House Bill 397, which is called the Fresh Start Act, which essentially requires the licensing agencies to allow prisoners to get licensed while still in prison for 14 different professions. Things like barbers or certified nursing assistants or roofers or electrical contractors. This way they can, after they've paid their debt to society, they can come out and become gainfully employed right away. It's attracted wide bipartisan support, and it really will have the effect of giving people hope when they get out of prison that they can succeed financially, and also reduce recidivism, and with the net effect of increasing public safety, because to the extent people reoffend, it's causing harm to others. So this bill, I'm looking forward to moving through the process, and I think it will, like I said, help prisoners when they've paid their debt and they're rehabilitated to get to work, and also help public safety.
But I think this is a game changer. This is one-of-a-kind program that they're implementing. It's the only one of its kind in the nation, and I think it's going to be a model for other states to use moving forward.
We are wrapping up here for the Florida DEREGUATHON. But what you see going on behind us at the different tables are various different boards that will be discussing different licensure regulations that they'll be working to basically streamline per Florida Governor Ron DeSantis's requirements, basically to reduce the time and cost necessary for folks to get certified and to enter the workforce. His ambition is to really increase Florida's workforce, increase the amount of folks that are employed. But stay tuned right here at FloridaNationalNews.com for our continuing FNN Politics and Power coverage. This is Mellissa Thomas coming to you from Valencia College.